Hey, my name is Liam, I'm 26. I fix people's Wi-Fi for a living, which means I show up, solve their problems, and leave. 6 months ago, I was at a client's house late one evening when she walked up beside me, while the router was blinking and reached past me to flip the power switch. The whole house went dark, no devices, no signals, no connection to anything, and she whispered, "Sometimes the best connection is no connection at all." We sat in that dark office for 2 hours, not touching, just talking, and she said, "I need someone to remember that for a few hours, I was real. If you're watching this right now, tell me where you're from in the comments. Because I still don't know if what we did was wrong." The router LEDs blinked green, then amber, then nothing. Late evening. The house was quiet except for the hum of electronics dying one by one. Marianne stood beside me at the desk, close enough I could smell her perfume. Something expensive, subtle. She reached past me, hand on the power strip. "Sometimes," she said quietly, "the best connection is no connection at all." She flipped a switch. Everything went dark. The house settled into total silence. No fans, no hard drive spinning, no Wi-Fi signal searching for devices. Just us, standing in the dark, not touching, not needing to. Earlier that day, I'd been finishing a job in Pasadena when the message came. "Hi Liam, internet's acting up again. Can you stop by?" Marianne. I stared at my phone. That was the 4th time in 3 weeks. Her Wi-Fi wasn't that unstable. I'd checked everything, twice, but I texted back anyway. "I can come around 7. That work?" "Perfect, thank you." I sat in my van, tools packed, wondering why I kept saying yes. I'm a freelance tech. Network issues, smart home installations, whatever people need to stay connected. Most of my work comes from referrals. Someone's router dies, they call. I fix it. They tell their neighbors. That's how I met Marianne. 6 months ago, her friend recommended me. Excellent router issues, need someone reliable. I showed up expecting a quick fix. Maybe an hour. Ended up staying 3. That first visit was professional. Marianne answered the door. 42. Dark hair pulled back, jeans and a sweater, wedding ring that probably cost more than my van. Beautiful in a way that made you look twice. Not because of makeup, because of the sadness in her eyes. "Thank you for coming," she said. "The internet keeps dropping. My husband works from home. He's not patient about it. I'll figure it out." She led me to the office. Wall of windows, expensive desk, router blinking angrily. I ran diagnostics, checked connections, traced cables, found the problem. Simple fix. Loose coax connection, all set, I said. "Should be stable now, that's it." "Yeah. Sometimes it's the simple things." She looked relieved. "How much do I owe you?" I told her. She paid cash, added a tip I didn't expect. "Thank you," she said. "Really." As I was leaving, I saw someone watching from upstairs. Teenage girl, dark hair like her mother's. She didn't wave. Marianne noticed me noticing. "My daughter, June. She's shy." "That's okay." I left. Thought that was the end of it. 2 weeks later, another call. "Hi Liam, it's Marianne Davis. The internet's slow again. Can you take a look?" I came back, checked everything. Nothing wrong technically. But I optimized settings, upgraded firmware, made it faster. She made coffee while I worked. We didn't talk much, but I felt her watching. When I finished, she walked me to the door. "Thank you again," she said. "You're very patient." "It's my job." Still, she paused. "Peter, my husband, he just yells when things don't work. Doesn't try to understand." I didn't know what to say to that, so I just nodded, left. After that, the calls came regularly, once a week, sometimes more. Always small issues, slow speeds, drop connections, streaming problems, nothing urgent, nothing that couldn't wait. But she called anyway, and I came. Around the 4th visit, I started noticing patterns. She only called when the house was empty, or nearly empty. Peter was never home, always traveling, always working. June stayed upstairs, music loud, door closed. Just me and Marianne, in that big house, fixing problems that barely existed. One afternoon in late spring, I was rebooting the router when she said it. "They're not accidents." I looked up. "What?" "The outages. The slow speeds." She stood by the window, arms crossed, I turn things off, disconnect devices, create problems. My stomach tightened. Why? Because when you're here, the house feels occupy, like someone actually lives here instead of just existing in it. I stood up, tools in hand. Mrs. Davis. Marianne. Marianne. I can single quotes this isn't what I do. What do you do? I fix internet problems. Real ones. These are real. She looked at me. Just not technical. I should have left, should have told her to find someone else. Instead I said, I need to maintain professional boundaries. I know, do you? Yes. She sat down. I'm not asking for anything inappropriate. I just I need someone who shows up when they say they will, who fixes things instead of ignoring them, who treats me like I matter. You do matter. Do I? She laughed bitterly. Peter hasn't looked at me in 2 years. June barely speaks to me. I exist to manage this house and look good at dinners. She wiped her eyes. You're the only person who asks how my day was. I hadn't realized I'd been doing that. But I had. Every visit. How's your day going? Just making conversation while systems rebooted. And she'd actually answer. Unlike most clients who just scrolled their phones. I'm sorry, I said, but I can't be your whatever this is. I'm not asking you to be anything. I'm just asking you to keep coming when I call, even when the problems are small. That's not ethical. Is it ethical to leave someone drowning because you're afraid of getting wet? I didn't have an answer. We sat while the systems rebooted. 5 minutes, 10, she told me about her marriage. How Peter proposed in Paris. How she thought that was love. How she learned the difference between romance and partnership too late. I told her about my ex. How she left because I didn't have ambition. How I learned that some people need you to want more than you actually want. Do you regret it? She asked, not changing for her. Sometimes. But mostly no. Why? Because I'm good at what I do. I help people. That matters. She smiled. It does. The router finished rebooting. Green lights. Full signal. All set. I said. Thank you. I packed up. She walked me to the door. As I was leaving, she said, same time next week? There's nothing wrong with your internet. I know. I should have said no. I'll come if you really need me. I said, I really need you. The next visit was different. I arrived at the usual time. 7 p.m. Empty driveway except for Marianne's car. She answered the door looking stressed. June's upstairs with friends. They're loud. Can we work in the guest house? Sure. The guest house was separate. Small. One room with a desk and a couch. Its own Wi-Fi extender. I checked the equipment. Everything fine. As expected, Marianne. I know. She sat on the couch. I just needed quiet. Away from them. From everyone. I sat in the desk chair. Kept distance. Tell me about your day, she said. So I did. Router installs. Angry clients. Traffic. Normal stuff. She listened like it mattered. Then she told me about hers. Lunch with women who competed over everything. Shopping for things she didn't need. Coming home to an empty house that cost $1 million. Do you ever feel invisible? She asked. Yeah. How do you cope? I stay busy. Help people. Try to matter in small ways. Does it work? Sometimes. We sat in silence, comfortable, heavy. Then footsteps outside. We both froze. Someone walking past, talking on the phone. June's voice. No. Mom's in the guest house with the internet guy again. The voice faded. Marianne's face went pale. I should go. I said. I'm sorry. Don't be. Just Be careful. I left through the back gate. 3 days later. Late evening, she texted. Can you come? Tonight, I need to fix this properly. Fix what? Everything. I should have said no. Should have ignored it. I drove over anyway. She met me at the door. The house was dark. Just one light in the office. Where's Peter? I asked. Chicago. Back tomorrow. June. Fran's house. We were alone. Every warning bell in my head screaming. What needs fixing? I asked. The router keeps resetting. I need you to look at it. I checked. Nothing wrong. Logs clean. Signal strong. Marianne. She reached past me, hand on the power strip. Sometimes, she said quietly, the best connection is no connection at all. She flipped a switch. Everything went dark. We sat in the office. No lights except street light through the window. No sounds except distant traffic. What are we doing? I asked. Sitting, talking, existing without being connected to anything except each other. That's dangerous. I note, your husband isn't here. Hasn't been here. Not really. Not in years. That doesn't make this okay. I know. She stayed on her side of the room. Didn't move closer, but I needed one night where I felt like a person. Not a wife, not a mother, not a decoration, just me. And I'm supposed to be what? Proof that I still exist. I understood that more than I wanted to. We talked for an hour, maybe two, about everything, about nothing, about the space between who we are and who we're supposed to be. She told me about her art degree, how she used to paint, how Peter convinced her it was a hobby, not a career, how she stopped painting 10 years ago. I told her about wanting to be a teacher, how I couldn't afford the degree, how I ended up fixing tech instead, how sometimes I wondered what my life would have been. Do you regret it? She asked. No, but I wonder. Me too. The coffee she'd made earlier sat cold on the desk. Neither of us drank it. Can I ask you something? She said. Sure. When you leave here tonight, will you remember this? Yeah. Good. Her voice cracked, because I need someone to remember. That for a few hours, I was real. You're always real. Not to Peter, not to June, not to anyone who matters. You matter to me. The words hung in the air. Too honest. Too much. Her phone lit up, bright in the dark room. Location notification. Peter arrived at O'Hare. We both stared at it. He wasn't supposed to be back until tomorrow, she whispered. Marianne, he tracks my location. Always. He'll see I'm home. He'll call. You should answer. Not yet. She turned the phone face down. But we both knew the moment was over. Footsteps on the front porch. We both went still. Keys in the lock. Shit, she whispered. That's June. I thought. Plans must have changed. The door opened. Hallway light flicked on. Mom. June's voice. Marianne stood quickly. Guest bathroom, now. What? Go. Please. I grabbed my bag, slipped down the hall. Into the bathroom. Closed the door. Heard voices in the other room. What are you doing in the dark? June asked. The power went out. I was resetting the router. Where's your phone? Right here. Why's the internet guy's been outside? Pause. He came earlier. Must have forgotten to move it. His tools are here. Mom. Longer pause. Tease. Checking the outside connections. In the backyard. In the dark. June. It's fine. Footsteps. Coming closer. I held my breath. Then Marianne's voice. Louder. I'm turning the Wi-Fi back on. Give me a second. The power clicked. Router booted. House came back to life. There. Marianne said. All fixed. June's footsteps retreated. Whatever. I'm going upstairs. Silence. Then Marianne's whisper at the bathroom door. Stay there. 5 minutes. Then leave through the back. Okay. I'm sorry. Don't be. Liam. Just. Be safe. I waited 10 minutes. Then slipped out. Through the back. Over the fence. Around to my van. Drove home with my heart pounding. Knowing I'd just crossed a line I couldn't uncross. The next week. Nothing. No calls. No texts. No messages. I worked other jobs. Fixed other networks. Tried not to think about dark offices and cold coffee. Failed. One afternoon, I was sorting cables when I found it. An Ethernet cable, Cat 6, blue. Not mine. From her house. I must have grabbed it by accident. I turned it over in my hands, staring. Should have thrown it away. Didn't. Put it in the drawer with my spare cables. Proof that it happened. That she was real. That for a few hours, we both were. 1 week of silence turned into 2. I kept the cable in my drawer. Pulled it out sometimes. Held it. Put it back. Told myself to throw it away. Never did. My friend Tyler noticed at the coffee shop. You've been distracted, he said. Just busy. Bullshit. What happened? I told him. Some of it. Not everything. He listened. Stirred his coffee. Didn't judge. So you caught feelings for a client, he said. I didn't catch anything. Then why do you look like someone died? Because something ended that shouldn't have started, but it did start. Yet. He leaned back. You think she felt it too? I don't know. Maybe. Probably different though. Different how? She needed someone to see her. I needed. I don't know what I needed. To matter, Tyler said. Same as her. I didn't argue. You gonna reach out? He asked. No. Why not? Because she's married. Because it's complicated. Because some things are better left in the dark, or because you're scared. That too. 3 weeks after the dark office, I was working a job in her neighborhood. Different house, different client, but close. I saw her driveway when I drove past. Empty. No cars. I slowed down, looked. The house looked the same. Windows dark, everything still, like nothing had happened. Like those nights never existed. I kept driving. For weeks later, I got a text. 2:07 a.m. Are you awake? I stared at it. Heart pounding. Yeah. Can you come, please? Just. During the day, professional. What's wrong? Nothing technical. I just. I need to see you. To know you're real. I should have said no. Tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Thank you. I arrived at exactly 10. 2 cars in the driveway, Marianne's, and a BMW I didn't recognize. She answered the door. Jeans, t-shirt, hair up, face tired. Hi, she said. Hi, come in. The house felt different in daylight, alive, occupy, normal. June was in the living room, laptop open, headphones on. She glanced up when I walked by, nodded once. I followed Marianne to the office. What needs fixing? I asked. The Wi-Fi in the guest house, it keeps dropping. Professional, normal, safe. I grabbed my tools. We walked outside, daylight making everything clear and obvious. The guest house router was fine, but I replaced a cable anyway. Ran tests, made it look like work. Marianne stood by the door, watching. How have you been? She asked quietly. Good. You? Complicated? Yeah. Silence. Can we talk about it? She asked. That night? I don't think we should. Why not? Because talking about it makes it real. And if it's real, we have to decide what to do about it. She nodded slowly. And you already decided. We both did. When we turned the lights back on. I know. She wrapped her arms around herself, but I needed to see you. To thank you. For what? For not pushing. For not making it more complicated. For just being there. That was my job. No, your job was fixing routers. What you did was something else. I packed my tools. Your wifey's good now. Liam, I should go. Will you come back if I call? For real problems. Yeah. And if the problems aren't real, then you should find someone else. She looked at me, eyes wet. You're right. I walked to the door, stopped. You're not invisible, Marianne. You're just in the wrong house. What does that mean? It means maybe the problem isn't your Wi-Fi. It's your connection. I left before she could respond. After that, the call stopped, completely, for a month. Then 2. I worked other jobs, built other networks. Tried not to think about dark offices and cold coffee. Got better at it, slowly. 6 weeks later, I got an email. Subject, network issue, remote help. Hi Liam, I'm having router problems again. Would you be able to troubleshoot remotely? I don't want to take up your time with a visit. Marianne, professional, distant, safe. I walked her through fixes over email. Step by step, everything technical. She followed instructions. Fixed the issue. Thanked me. No personal questions. No loaded silence. Just work. That became the pattern. Every few weeks, an email. A small issue, remote fixes. I'd send instructions, she'd follow them. Problem solved. Professional, clean, distant, exactly what it should have been from the start. 2 months after the daylight visit, I was having dinner with Tyler when he asked, "You still thinking about her?" Sometimes, less than before. Yeah. That's good. Is it? Yeah. Means you're moving on. I thought about it. I don't know if I'm moving on or just accepting. What's the difference? Moving on means you forget. Accepting means you remember but it doesn't hurt anymore. Which one are you doing? I don't know yet. 3 months later, I was at a coffee shop when I saw her. Not actually her, just someone who looked like her from behind. Dark hair, same way of standing. My chest tightened for half a second, then I realized it wasn't her. And I felt nothing. No disappointment, no relief, just nothing. Tyler was right. I was moving on. For months after the dark office, I deleted her contact, not out of anger, not out of hurt, just closure. The emails kept coming occasionally. But I replied through the business account. Professional, detached, and slowly, they stopped too. 5 months later, I found the cable again. Sorting tools in my van. There it was. Blue Cat 6, still in the drawer. I held it, turned it over. Remembered dark rooms and cold coffee and the way Marianne's voice sounded when she said, "I need someone to remember." Then I threw it away. Not dramatically, just tossed it in the bin with the old cables I was clearing out. It was time. 6 months after everything, I got a final email. Subject: Thank you. Hi Liam, I wanted to thank you for your help over the past year. We're moving, downsizing. Peter and I are separating. June's going to college. I'm starting over. I got a job. Small marketing firm. It's not much, but it's mine. I wanted you to know that those nights when you came, man, we just talked, they reminded me I was still alive. Still capable of feeling something. So thank you for fixing my Wi-Fi. And for fixing more than that. I read it 3 times. Typed several responses. Deleted them all. Finally settled on. I'm glad you're moving forward. You deserve good things. Hit send. Closed the email. And felt peaceful. 1 year after the dark office, I was installing a network at a small office building downtown. Marketing firm, young company, creative space. The manager showed me around. We just moved in. Need everything hardwired, fast and reliable. I can do that. I was running cable when I saw her. Through the glass wall, in a meeting room, hair shorter, business clothes, confident. Marianne. She looked up, saw me, froze for half a second, then smiled, small, real, mouthed, "Hi." I nodded, smiled back, went back to work. When I finished the install, she was waiting by my van. "Hi," she said. "Hi. This is weird, yeah. Good weird though, yeah." We stood there, daylight making everything clear and safe. "You look good," I said. "So do you." She paused. "I'm sorry for everything. Don't be." It was what it was. What was it? I thought about it. A moment. When 2 people needed to feel seen. Is that all? No. But it's enough. She nodded. "Thank you for being kind." "You too." A coworker called her name. She waved. "I should go," she said. "Me too. If you ever need a referral for work, let me know. Thanks." She walked away, stopped, looked back. "Liam, yeah. Do you ever think about it? That night?" "Sometimes." "Me too." She smiled. "But I'm glad we didn't single quotes t. You know. Me too." "Why?" "Because now when I see you, I don't have regrets, just respect." She looked at me for a long moment. "That's exactly right." Then she left. I packed my tools, drove home, and realized I meant what I said. These days, I still fix networks, different houses, different clients, different problems, but I'm more careful now. About boundaries, about connection, about knowing when someone needs Wi-Fi fixed and when they need something else entirely. And sometimes, late at night, when I'm alone in my apartment with all my devices glowing, I think about darkness, about turning off the power, about sitting in silence, about choosing disconnection as a form of intimacy, about how sometimes the strongest connection is the one you turn off together. Last month, I got a referral. Friend of Marianne's, needs full home network, says you're the best. I took the job. Professional, clean, perfect installation. When I finished, the client said, "Marianne mentioned you were really patient, that you treat people like they matter." "I try," she said. That mattered to her, more than the Wi-Fi. I didn't know what to say to that, so I just nodded, left. Sometimes I drive past her old house. New family lives there now, kids in the yard. Lights on, alive, the Wi-Fi probably works perfectly. And I'm glad, because that house needed people who belonged there, not people hiding in the dark. Last week, I got a text. New number, but I knew. "Hi, it's Marianne. New phone, work number. Is that weird?" "A little, sorry. Just wanted to say I'm doing well, really well. Teaching art classes at night, started painting again." "That's great, thank you for reminding me I could. You did the work, not me, maybe, but you turned off the distractions long enough for me to hear myself think." Pause. "Do you ever think about that night?" she asked. "Sometimes, me too, not in a, you know, just fondly. Yeah, me too." Good. No more messages after that. Just acknowledgement. Just knowing we both survived. Tonight I'm installing a network across town. Big house, rich couple, wife already complaining about connection speeds. I'll fix it. I'll be professional. I'll leave. And if she asks me to come back for small problems that aren't really problems, I'll say no. Because I learned something in that dark office. That the strongest connection isn't the one with the fastest speeds. It's the one you choose to turn off, together, in silence. Knowing you could turn it back on, but choosing not to. Because some things are better left disconnected. Some moments are better left in the dark, and some people are meant to exist in your life as a reminder of what restraint looks like. The work continues, the routers keep failing. The Wi-Fi keeps dropping, and sometimes, late at night, I think about power switches. About how easy it is to turn everything off, about how hard it is to leave it that way. About how the strongest signal is often silence. But here's all I know now. Connection isn't about bandwidth, it's about presence. And sometimes the most intimate thing you can do is sit in a dark room with someone and choose not to touch them. Not because you don't want to, but because the wanting the restraint that chose. That's the connection. Some nights, when I'm alone, I think about Marianne. About cold coffee and dark offices and the sound of a power strip clicking off. About how we sat in silence and felt more connected than most people feel in conversation. About how we chose restraint over impulse. Distance over contact, respect over everything. And I realized that was the point, not the disconnection. That the chose to disconnect together, the trust required to sit in darkness and not turn on the lights. The intimacy of knowing you could but choosing not to. That's the strongest connection. Not the one that binds you, but the one you turn off together. And trust each other enough to leave it that way.